Okay, it's good to be back. Really missed you guys. Hope you're all doing well. It's been a really good winter. Really pleased with our players. Appreciate the effort of our strength and conditioning coaches. The guys that have worked extremely hard. They're bigger, they're stronger, faster, mentally more mature. So really excited to get back and get going starting tomorrow. So we got a good group. We got a full group. We have 111 players here. That's the most we've had in the spring by far. So excited to get going.
Mark, what's the status on your long-term injured guys, Terry, Devontae?
It's funny you say that. I had that list and I left it right on my desk. Just texting Susan to say, update me on that, just so I'm accurate. But Terry Wilson, limited. He won't go through spring. He's doing some throwing and doing, getting his legs stronger and the rehab and all those things. Nick Scalzo, he'll be out. Devontae will be limited. Abule will be out. Isaiah Epps will be out. Nasir will be out. Tosh Dodson will be out. De'Eric Jackson will be out. So that's those are the guys that'll be out or limited in some way. I mean, Devontae, he won't be participating, but again, he's going through some drills. He's going through some of the winter conditioning that we've done right now. So he's getting better, and a lot of these guys are getting closer. But as you can see there, it's a pretty extensive list. It's a pretty long and grueling season, and some of these guys had to get some some surgeries in the off season.
Are you approaching that open staff position during the spring, just in terms of?
I am. I've been working through that position. As you know, it's taking some time, but I've taken my time with it. To be honest with you, I tried to hire my brother Mike and get him on staff, and that's not going to work out by his choice. Mike chose to stay. He likes what he's doing. He likes the learning he's doing and the work he's doing there with Nick at Alabama. And Mike's a big pitcher guy, so the timing of this position and the capacity that it is, he decided to stay there and continue to kind of recalibrate himself and ready to come back as a coordinator. So he decided to stay. So so I'm working through that. Shouldn't be long.
When you have all those quarterbacks who've been kind of injured, they've been injured, but they can do a little bit of throwing, how do you work out reps, especially with getting new guys involved like Bo and Joey?
Yeah, I think that will be the big question, because they won't get team reps. Nick will not, and Terry will not get team reps, and really, or 7-on-7. So these guys are going to be able to get a lot of work with Sawyer, Armani, Bo, and Joey. So the good thing is we're pretty deep there, but with the two guys injured, that'll give some good quality reps for the four that are participating.
Do you still anticipating Terry will be ready by the fall?
Yeah, definitely.
Mark, you want to keep Josh Pascal outside linebacker or move him down?
We're gonna move him back in, just with our depth at outside linebacker and his ability to play inside and be an impact player inside. The great thing about Josh is, he's been very versatile, but he's also so unselfish. He knew a year ago, and even really going back 2 years ago, that we had some depth inside and not as much depth outside, and he wanted to help the team. Now he realizes there's some depth outside, and we need some impact players inside. And he's versatile, and really it's about him and his body, and what it just naturally does. And he's just a big human. He's a big person. And, I think right now it's the best he's been about being big but comfortable. He doesn't have to worry about putting on weight. He still can be very quick twitch like he is and be an impact guy inside. So we're really excited about that. This is the best he's been in a few years, because of the injury and the cancer and the surgeries on his foot and all those things. This is the best he's looked. He's had a great winter. He's feeling good and moving around really good and really comfortable. So I'm excited for him. Yeah, and naturally he'll help us.
As far as that filling that spot, you bring everybody back on the offensive line except for losing Stenberg, who's doing stuff at the combine. Do you move Fortner over to left, or how does that process?
No, we'll leave Fortner right now where he's at, and give that, first shot to Horsey and see what he can do. There's options. I mean, you look at it, and you look at, the top five, and, if Nasir was completely healthy and you move Kennard inside, you want to talk about being big. We would be very big and very good. However, we have confidence in some of these other guys, and Nasir's out right now. Darian's playing so good at tackle. You hate to mess with that because he's just playing such good football. But I do think he's bright enough to do it, and athletic enough to do it, and versatile enough to play either or. And I'm not saying we're going to do that, but they're just options. Right now, Darian's playing too good. Just leave him alone and continue to develop these other guys. So, those are good issues. We really feel like there's some guys that could step up. And Austin Dotson was hurt a bit last year during camp and then come back and hasn't been completely healthy. I'd like to see him go through a complete spring and see what he can do and see what Kenneth can do in there as well.
Is Quentin Wilson, can he do something?
Quentin is at center, and we love him there because he's athletic and he's been very solid behind Drake, but he is versatile enough to play as well.
Mark, what's the reason for Flax not being here? When he's supposed to come in early?
He was supposed to come in early. There was a situation where he just came up a bit short, and he should be here in the spring.
Mark, you mentioned the outside linebackers, feeling good about those guys. Could you talk a little bit more about those guys, and specifically Xavier Peters was a guy that drew a lot of interest.
Yeah.
Last year didn't really get on the field a whole lot. How does he fit into that?
Yeah,
mix?
I'm really excited about that group. You asked me about the group. I mean, Boogie coming back, I believe he leads the most experience as far as sacks coming back in the SEC with 6.5, and we have high expectations for Boogie. He's did some very good things a year ago. I think a year ago maybe there was some frustration with him early, and then he kind of just settled in and listened to Coach White and really just kind of put his head down and went back to fundamentals and playing the game and enjoying it. I think he was putting a little pressure on himself early, but Boogie's a guy that has a lot of experience, played a lot of football for us, and he's one of our leaders, and really excited to have him back for his senior year. And Jordan Wright's another guy you've heard me talk about, really making big jumps, made a big jump a year ago. We need him to continue to do that. He's kind of growing into his body. J.J. Weaver is a guy that we're very excited about. Just has the frame you're looking for. I mean, he is a big guy and has the length you're looking for, putting on good weight, and really he's one of those guys that does everything you ask him to do, and he's getting better and better. Same with KD, much the same. I just talked about with JJ, his length, has athletic ability, has some good size. Sam Anali, the guy we came in at mid-year, and great big guy. Going to take some time, with him, but that's why he's here early and working hard. And Xavier, that's up to him. As I mentioned before, I don't want to get into specifics or try to throw him under the bus, but we have expectations here. We're going to do things a certain way. We're going to do things right, and that goes for him or anybody else. And when you reach those expectations and play to our standard and do the thing to our standard as far as going to school and tutors and workouts, and you can handle your business, then you'll have an opportunity to do it on the field. Until then, there won't be any, and that's again, I'm talking in general. So you could read between the lines or however you want to do it, but he's doing some good things. He's doing better.
One guy we haven't seen at all is Kelvin Joseph. You got to watch him practice some last year. What does he add to practice?
Yeah, he's a difference maker. He's physical. First thing that pops out to you, he's a big kid. Like he's like some of the corners we've been used to having, and he's got good size, and he's instinctual. He was on scout team. It's a lot easier to show flashes out there, when there's very little risk, involved in giving up a big play. But no, you could see his athletic ability. I mean, you saw it on tape when he was coming from LSU and the amount of plays he played as a true freshman. So we're excited.
Did you
Mark,
start
you
him at
mentioned-
corner, or
Yeah.
do you move him
I'm
around?
gonna start in the corner.
You touched on being excited about the depth earlier. It seems like one of your favorite spots, the DBs, and
Mhm.
back there, you got a ton of it.
A lot of guys back there, yeah.
What do you think about that group? And do you mix and match some guys trying to cross train?
Yeah, we'll just, yeah, I like that. I like the versatility, you know that. I mean, I like guys that can play multiple positions. I want to get the best 4 on there, then the best 5, and then the best 6, you know, and you need to play a lot of guys at that position. I mean, truthfully, I mean, if you could have 10 guys that are game ready, that's what it takes. You know, we rotate D-line, as you know, constantly, and outside backers, inside backers. You know, it's a physical game there, but same with DBs. I mean, that's a high-paced game. And, you know, so you need that depth. You know, that really helped us 2 years ago with the rotation that we had and the depth we had. This past year wasn't quite as deep, but I anticipate us getting back to that. Having, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys that can play and play at a high level. So, you know, there is good depth there. I was noticing that during our winter conditioning and just seeing the guys that we have there, I'm excited about it.
TJ and Calvin gone up front. How beneficial is it to get a guy like Phil back with so much experience?
It was important to get Phil back, and you know, you know it's going to be a lot of help for us, really. You know, then you move Josh back inside, you feel like, you know, you're right back to where you were. We greatly appreciate those guys. You're going to miss them. Heck of players for us, but they played a lot of football for us. But it was good to get Phil back because he's a different type of inside guy, as I mentioned before. He's got some size, but he's also kind of a loose player. He's twitchy. You know, he's different. Calvin was so big, TJ's so big, and you know, just talking with guys in the off season and looking at our defense. I mean, they were you know, asking me a lot of questions about our size, like, and how intentional we are to be like we are. And, you know, so we got to get back and make sure this next recruiting cycle, we are so excited about the defensive players we recruited. But I want to go back and make sure we get some size with this group as well, length.
Throw this in at the end. Are you kind of interested to see with the wide receiver group, now that you have a kind of a more traditional quarterback situation?
I don't think there's any doubt. You know, we need to continue to grow there and get better. And I'm going to tell you this, you know, you go back and you watch so we had to do our cut-ups essentially through camp in the first 2 games, maybe 3 games. And then after that, we different team. And so you go back and look at that and what we were doing, and I mean, it's exciting. You know, when I was talking about that through last summer, through lead up of the season, and, you know, through the beginning part of the year, I mean, Terry was looking really good. Our receivers were looking really good. I mean, we were getting better, and we had to change. We had to adapt and overcome. You know, so but we changed, and we had to. But we were making good progress. You go back and look at that, who we want to be, and that's exciting. But we definitely need that group to continue to work extremely hard and step up. And they are. I'm excited about it.
All right, folks, thank you.